So thank you so very much for your kind invitation. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to come and speak with you here today. Scotty, I see you. Yes, I do. Thank
Nassau.
you. Yes.
Freeport is here in the house somewhere.
Yes, we've got.
See them.
I see a lot of familiar faces here. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I know I've got 5 minutes. I'm one of 10 kids. I grew up in Nassau County. My parents always stressed, as all of us do as parents, education is the great equalizer in life, and giving back to the community that had given my family of 10 kids so much. So I've always chosen to do that as a legal advocate. I worked in Brooklyn for 8 years as a prosecutor in neighborhoods like East New York and East Flatbush and Canarsie, advocating on behalf of victims of child abuse, domestic violence, murder, rape, robbery. It was a great experience, community-based prosecution, and after 8 years there, I had the opportunity to be a federal prosecutor in Philadelphia, one of the biggest U.S. attorney's offices, and I was there able to advocate on behalf of victims of white-collar crime, a lot of the kind of white-collar crimes that we're seeing now, financial crimes, fraud cases, embezzlement schemes, Ponzi schemes, public corruption cases, federal gun and drug cases. And in 2005, I had the opportunity to challenge a 30-year, Scotty, you know this, 30-year Republican incumbent DA in Nassau County who everyone said could not be beaten. And I beat him and began to turn around the way that law enforcement treats the members of their community, that they can't police anymore. It's called partnering. And what I've done over the past almost 5 years as DA is reach out to communities all across the county to engage in partnerships that will enable us to keep our communities safe, to level the playing field from an educational standpoint, to make sure that every child gets a quality education. And I put a lot of resources toward the white-collar bureaus of the office. Why is that so important? Because as we have seen over the past 3 or 4 years, there's been an incredible increase in financial crimes like predatory lending, mortgage fraud, insurance fraud. In fact, in Nassau County, we have some of the highest areas of rates of foreclosure. And what we have done is I started a unit within the economic crime unit called CARE, Crimes Against Real Estate. So we are aggressively pursuing those financial institutions that prey on vulnerable people and communities throughout at least my jurisdiction, and embarked on an educational program to give people the tools they need to be able to educate themselves so that they cannot be victimized by these scamsters. So right now in New York State, we're going through very difficult times. I don't have to tell any one of you anything about that. 80% of people, as I said, feel that their government is broken. I am running for Attorney General because I want to be a part of turning around this state, of restoring the confidence that all of us deserve to have in our state government. So we're going to make sure that we have the reform in Albany that we need, the political reform, the governmental reform, and the ethics reform that we need. We're going to make sure that everyone on Wall Street plays by the rules and help the federal government institute the financial reform bill that was just passed. It's very complicated, but there is an enormous role for the Attorney General to play, especially with the Consumer Financial Protection Agency, because all of us as consumers, or Bureau I should say, all of us as consumers and investors deserve to have faith that when we are talking to financial advisors and broker dealers, that they're giving us correct information and they're not trying to sell us a bill of goods that's going to end up leaving us holding the bag. So that's number two. Number three, I want to get back to the more consumer-based programs. I have actually, I shouldn't say programs, crimes, leveling the playing field, helping people in communities all across our state, giving them the tools to protect them against crimes like the financial crimes that we're seeing, like the predatory lending and the mortgage fraud and the insurance fraud. More important than that, I put out a social justice agenda because I want to be incredibly aggressive in a number of areas. No one in this race on the Democratic side has the experience that I do in running a law enforcement agency. And as a result of that, no one has the perspective that I do on the criminal justice system. We need reform. We need to reform our juvenile justice system. I've begun to take steps to do that in places like Hempstead High School, where we set up a youth court to get our juvenile offenders out of family court in that cesspool that it's become, where kids can never get back into school, and have them stay in school and positively redirect them. These are enormous steps that we have to take on a statewide level. So we need reform the criminal justice system. No one knows how to do that better than I do. I was the first candidate in this race to talk about reviewing the stop and frisk policy of the NYPD. Why? Not because I don't think that it can't be a useful tool, because if used legally, it can be. But I can tell you that that innocence database has absolutely no place in our society. Why? Because it actually keeps us and our communities less safe. I can tell you that an initiative we did in the village of Hempstead, where we partnered with the community, and Scotty can tell you more about this. We partnered with the community and law enforcement for the first time to get rid of an open-air drug market that resulted in a 70% reduction in crime. And what it also resulted in is a back-end program where we put all the social services together. We partnered with groups like 100 Black Men, and there is 100 Black women out there too, I know that, because I'm joining their membership. And to get people job opportunities, drug treatment, after-school programs, job training, and it's working. It's the community that it wants to turn around. We call it a movement. It's not a program. It is a movement. And I can tell you that that relationship that I have been able to build with communities all across the county has made all of our communities safer, because we have a level of trust that enables us to work together to allow our communities to be safe, our kids to stay in school and get a quality education, and to be a part of the economic rebirth that we need in communities all across this state. These are the kind of things that I want to do. I hope that all of you will go to my website. It's very original. It's called KathleenRice.com. Pretty original. Please go to www.KathleenRice.com. I have put out a number of agendas: a rural agenda, a social justice agenda, a Wall Street agenda, a public integrity agenda, to clearly lay out for you what my plans are as Attorney General. I am the most qualified person in this race. I have run a law enforcement agency. I have made the management decisions that it takes to make in an office where I have 180 attorneys. The AG's office is even bigger, it has 650 attorneys. But I've made the legal decisions that we need to ensure economic justice, social justice, to ensure our civil rights. I'm going to expand the Civil Rights Bureau. I'm going to expand the labor unit, have those two units work together to deal with issues of employment discrimination, housing discrimination, to level the playing field. That's what we need. But it all starts with restoring our faith in our government. I am not a product of Albany. So I am going to be able to push through the kind of reforms that we need, that is going to enable us all to have faith in our government, and from that, everything flows. Economic vitality, safe communities, quality public education, everything flows from that. Because I just want to talk about two other things: re-entry and no entry. Re-entry is a big issue. I am doing it in Nassau County with enormous success. Number one, no entry. What's no entry? Getting kids away from getting into the system to begin with. That's early intervention. That's after school programs. That's job opportunities for kids. We have done all of this. We are doing all of this in Nassau County, and I know that I can do it at the state level. We are throwing too many of our children away. Look, I had to struggle. I came from a family of 10 kids. Nothing came easy to anyone in my family. So I know how important a quality education is, to level the playing field and give a child a good start in life so they can get family supporting jobs and build their community, go back home where they grew up, and enable people to stay in their communities and have economic vitality. So I will be glad to get, and I could do it through Scotty, I could do it through you, Hazel. I'll get you all of our programs that we've done to show you that the success that we have had. And it has not been met without resistance. This is not going to be easy. So I'm going to need a lot of help when I win this race. First of all, I'd love all of your help in supporting me, obviously. But when I win this race, I'm going to need the help. I'm going to continue my partnership with communities, with private business, because that's what's going to make New York, once again, the great state that we know it all to be. Thank you all very much for this opportunity to speak to you.